Top 25 Forensic Accountant Interview Questions and Answers. Forensic accounting interviews assess analytical thinking, investigative skills, financial accuracy, and legal understanding. These questions help candidates show expertise in fraud detection, auditing, reporting, and complex financial dispute resolution. 1. What is forensic accounting? Forensic accounting involves applying accounting, auditing, and investigative techniques to examine financial records for fraud, misconduct, or legal disputes. Forensic accountants analyze evidence, prepare reports, and support litigation by presenting findings in a clear, factual manner. Their work requires attention to detail, strong analytical reasoning, and the ability to communicate complex financial issues. They often collaborate with law enforcement, attorneys, and organizations dealing with financial irregularities. 2. Why did you choose a career in forensic accounting? I chose forensic accounting because it combines analytical thinking, financial expertise, and investigative work. I enjoy identifying irregularities, solving complex financial puzzles, and contributing to legal outcomes. This field allows me to use my curiosity, integrity, and problem-solving skills to uncover fraud, protect organizations, and support justice. It also offers continuous learning opportunities as fraud schemes evolve, requiring updated knowledge of auditing techniques, technology, and regulatory standards. 3. What key skills should a forensic accountant have? A forensic accountant should possess strong analytical abilities, attention to detail, and excellent communication skills. They must understand financial systems, fraud schemes, and auditing procedures. Critical thinking, skepticism, and experience with digital tools are essential to examining data efficiently. They should also be able to present findings clearly in reports and court. Integrity and confidentiality remain crucial due to sensitive information involved in fraud investigations and financial dispute cases. 4. How do you detect financial fraud? Financial fraud detection involves analyzing financial statements, reviewing internal controls, and identifying irregular patterns or inconsistencies. I compare historical data, verify supporting documentation, and evaluate unusual transactions. Data analytics tools help detect anomalies quickly. I also conduct interviews to gather context and assess behavior. By applying professional skepticism and understanding common fraud techniques, I can uncover discrepancies and determine whether misconduct or errors contributed to financial irregularities. 5. What steps do you take when beginning an investigation? I begin by understanding the case scope, reviewing background documents, and meeting with stakeholders to clarify objectives. Next, I gather relevant financial records, identify key risks, and develop an investigation plan. I analyze data using auditing techniques, verify transactions, and document findings. Throughout the process, I maintain chain of custody procedures for evidence. Finally, I prepare a clear, objective report summarizing results and recommending actions based on the evidence. 6. How do you ensure accuracy in your findings? I ensure accuracy by cross-checking data, validating documents, and confirming calculations. I apply established forensic auditing procedures, use reliable analytical tools, and maintain organized documentation. I also consult relevant regulations to ensure compliance. Peer reviews and supervised assessments provide additional accuracy checks. Throughout the investigation, I remain objective and avoid assumptions, basing conclusions strictly on verified evidence and consistent financial patterns. This systematic approach ensures reliable and defensible findings. 7. What types of fraud have you encountered? I have encountered various types of fraud, including asset misappropriation, payroll manipulation, revenue inflation, expense fraud, and financial statement fraud. In some cases, internal controls were overridden by management or employees working together. Other cases involved external actors creating false invoices or phishing attempts. Each fraud type required tailored investigative techniques, such as document review, digital analysis, interviews, or transaction tracing. Identifying root causes ensures appropriate corrective measures to prevent reoccurrence. 8. How do you document your investigation process? I document investigations by maintaining detailed notes, secure files, and chronological records of all procedures performed. This includes evidence logs, interview summaries, data analysis results, and correspondence. I follow chain of custody rules to protect evidence integrity. Documentation must remain clear, organized, and compliant with legal standards. It supports transparency, enables peer review, and provides credibility in court. Well-structured documentation ensures findings are traceable and defensible during litigation or regulatory review. 9. What tools or software do you use in forensic accounting? I use forensic accounting tools such as Excel, ACL, IDEA, and specialized data analytics platforms to examine large datasets efficiently. I may also use digital forensics tools to investigate electronic records and trace transactions. Accounting software like QuickBooks, SAP, or Oracle helps me evaluate financial systems. Visualization tools support report clarity. Selecting the right tool depends on the investigation's complexity, available data, and required analytical detail. 10. How do you conduct a fraud risk assessment? I conduct fraud risk assessments by identifying vulnerable areas, reviewing internal controls, and analyzing past incidents. I interview management and employees to understand processes, responsibilities, and potential risks. I examine financial records and compare them against expected outcomes. Risk scoring helps prioritize key areas. After identifying risks, I recommend strengthening controls, improving oversight, and implementing preventive measures. Continuous monitoring ensures the organization reduces exposure to fraud or financial misconduct. 11. How do you handle confidential information? Confidential information is handled with strict security protocols. I store files securely, limit access to authorized personnel, and follow organizational data protection policies. All communications remain professional and restricted to the investigation team. I also comply with legal standards and confidentiality agreements. Protecting sensitive information is essential for maintaining trust, ensuring integrity, and preventing legal complications. Mishandling information can compromise investigations and damage professional credibility, so maintaining proper safeguards is crucial. 12. What is your experience with litigation support? I have experience assisting legal teams by analyzing financial evidence, preparing reports, and presenting expert testimony when required. I collaborate with attorneys to understand case strategy, perform damages calculations, and clarify financial discrepancies. My role includes simplifying complex financial data for judges and juries. I focus on accuracy, clarity, and objectivity because litigation outcomes often depend on the precision of financial analysis and the credibility of the forensic accountant's findings. 13. How do you trace hidden assets? Tracing hidden assets involves reviewing financial statements, analyzing cash flows, and identifying discrepancies between reported income and lifestyle indicators. I examine bank accounts, property records, transfers, and related party transactions. Data analytics tools help uncover unusual activity. I also interview individuals who may provide additional information. By connecting transactional patterns, I can locate concealed assets or funds used to avoid detection, aiding legal proceedings and recovery efforts. 14. How do you prepare a forensic accounting report? I prepare reports by organizing findings clearly, presenting evidence objectively, and explaining methodologies used during the investigation. I include charts, timelines, and summaries to enhance understanding. The report must remain factual, unbiased, and suitable for legal review. I ensure conclusions are based solely on verified data. Before submission, I review the report for clarity, accuracy, and compliance with professional standards. Proper documentation strengthens credibility during litigation or settlement discussions. 15. How do you evaluate internal controls? I evaluate internal controls by reviewing processes, testing transactions, and assessing whether controls effectively prevent or detect fraud. I examine segregation of duties, authorization procedures, and monitoring mechanisms. Interviews with staff help clarify control workflows. I analyze discrepancies and compare practices against industry standards. After identifying weaknesses, I recommend improvements to enhance security and reduce risk. Effective internal controls are essential for safeguarding assets and maintaining financial integrity within the organization. 16. What red flags indicate potential fraud? Red flags include unusual transactions, unexplained adjustments, missing documents, inconsistent financial records, or employees living beyond their known means. Sudden revenue spikes, duplicate payments, and shifts in behavior may also signal misconduct. Weak internal controls and lack of oversight increase fraud risk. Monitoring these indicators helps detect irregularities early. By investigating red flags promptly, organizations can prevent further damage and mitigate potential financial losses resulting from fraudulent activities. 17. How do you conduct interviews during an investigation? I conduct interviews by preparing targeted questions, maintaining professionalism, and creating a comfortable environment to encourage honest responses. I listen actively, observe body language, and document statements accurately. I avoid leading questions and focus on gathering facts. Interviews serve as supporting evidence and help clarify discrepancies found in documents or transactions. Properly conducted interviews provide valuable insight into motives, processes, and potential involvement in fraudulent activities. 18. How do you handle pressure or tight deadlines? I manage pressure by prioritizing tasks, maintaining detailed schedules, and breaking complex work into manageable steps. Staying organized helps ensure accuracy even under tight deadlines. I communicate proactively with stakeholders to address challenges or adjust timelines if necessary. By maintaining focus and applying disciplined work habits, I can deliver high-quality results while meeting expectations. Effective stress management ensures investigations remain thorough, consistent, and compliant with professional standards. 19. What role does technology play in forensic accounting? Technology plays a major role in analyzing large datasets, detecting anomalies, and uncovering fraud patterns. Tools like data analytics, digital forensics, and visualization software streamline investigations and improve accuracy. Technology also helps trace transactions, recover deleted files, and verify financial authenticity. As fraud schemes evolve, staying updated with emerging tools and cybersecurity practices is essential. Technology enhances efficiency, strengthens evidence, and supports stronger legal outcomes. 20. How do you approach a case involving financial statement fraud? I start by reviewing financial statements, comparing them with historical data, and identifying inconsistencies. I examine revenue recognition, expenses, and unusual entries. Supporting documents help confirm legitimacy. I evaluate internal controls and interview key personnel to understand processes. Using analytical techniques, I detect potential manipulation. My goal is to determine whether misstatements were intentional and quantify their impact. Findings are documented clearly to support legal or regulatory action. 21. What is your experience working with law enforcement? I have collaborated with law enforcement by providing documentation, explaining financial evidence, and supporting investigations involving fraud or financial crimes. My role involves translating complex accounting information into understandable insights. I ensure evidence is preserved correctly to support prosecution. Teamwork and clear communication are vital because law enforcement depends on accurate, timely financial analysis to build strong cases and pursue appropriate legal action. 22. How would you handle a case with limited documentation? In cases with limited documentation, I rely on alternative evidence such as third-party confirmations, bank statements, digital records, and interviews. I reconstruct transactions using available data and analytical techniques. I look for inconsistencies or patterns that support findings. Creativity and persistence are essential in such investigations. I ensure all assumptions are supported by evidence and clearly documented to maintain transparency and reliability in my conclusions. 23. How do you maintain professional skepticism? I maintain professional skepticism by questioning assumptions, verifying evidence independently, and avoiding reliance on a single information source. I closely analyze anomalies, inconsistencies, and unusual behavior. I remain alert to potential bias or manipulation. By applying an objective mindset, I ensure conclusions are based on solid evidence rather than assumptions. Skepticism strengthens the investigation process and helps uncover fraud that may not be immediately obvious. 24. How do you calculate economic damages? I calculate economic damages by analyzing financial records, revenue losses, expenses, and other measurable impacts of an incident. I compare actual performance with expected outcomes and use established valuation methods. I consider external factors, market conditions, and supporting documentation. My goal is to provide an objective, defensible estimate that can support legal proceedings or settlement negotiations. Accuracy and transparency remain essential throughout the calculation process. 25. What makes you a strong candidate for this role? I bring strong analytical skills, experience in fraud investigations, and the ability to present findings clearly. I maintain objectivity, follow professional standards, and handle sensitive information responsibly. My knowledge of forensic tools, financial systems, and legal processes helps me solve complex cases effectively. I am committed to integrity, accuracy, and continuous learning, ensuring I add value to your organization's fraud prevention and detection efforts. These forensic accounting interview questions help candidates demonstrate investigative expertise, analytical strength, and professional integrity. Strong preparation shows readiness to uncover fraud, support litigation, and protect financial systems.